TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donations. Shalom, good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcast to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories, the United States, United Arab Emirates, Bahrain and Israel hold a naval exercise in the Red Sea in what a senior IDF official proclaimed to be a beginning of cooperation between the participating countries of the Abraham Accords against Iranian entrenchment in the maritime sphere. Washington steps up efforts to help alleviate the suffering of the Lebanese people amid Lebanon's dire economic crisis. Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett proclaims Christians to be Israel's natural allies. For a second declared time in less than a month, the IDF spokesperson's unit announced that Israeli F-15 fighter jets escorted two U.S. Air Force B-1B supersonic strategic heavy bombers and a KC-10 refueler through Israeli skies on their way from the Gulf. Per its statement, the joint flight demonstrates the continued U.S.-Israel cooperation, which Jerusalem regards as crucial to the security of Israel and the Middle East. It is important to explain that the B-1B bomber is one of three heavy strategic bombers utilized by the U.S. Air Force. In addition to its capacity to carry nuclear payloads and delivery systems, it is also uniquely capable of striking numerous targets simultaneously over a relatively broad span of territory. Hence, it is utilized by the U.S. Air Force to deter enemies at times of heightened tensions, including the Islamic Republic of Iran. In tandem, the U.S. Naval Forces Central Command, alongside forces assigned to the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain and Israel, are currently holding a multilateral maritime security operation exercise in the Red Sea. The exercise, which started on November 10th and is scheduled to conclude on November 15th, includes at-sea training aboard amphibious transport dock ship USS Portland and focused on visit, board search, and seizure tactics. The training aims to enhance interoperability between participating forces' maritime interdiction teams. In response to the announcement, which includes a first public acknowledgement of Israeli forces training alongside their Gulf partners, IDF officials were reportedly surprised by the timing of the announcement, asserting that they would have preferred to wait until after the exercises next week to make the statement. With that being said, the IDF spokesperson's unit released a statement of its own, in which it highlighted that the exercise constitutes a beginning of cooperation between the participating countries against Iranian entrenchment in the maritime sphere. Turning to Israel's northern neighbor, Lebanon, where the leader of the Iranian proxy Hezbollah, Hassan Nasrallah, delivered an address to his followers in Beirut, during which he sought to promote a conspiracy theory over the latest rift between Lebanon and Saudi Arabia, as part of which the Gulf Kingdom was supposedly trying to fuel a civil war in Lebanon at the behest of the United States and Israel.
ومشكلتهم مع حلفائهم بلبنان الكل بيعرفوها. مشكلتهم مع حلفائهم انه بدهم حلفائهم يقاتلوا حزب الله ويعملوا حرب اهليه مع حزب الله ويخوضوا قتال مع حزب الله لمصلحه مين؟ هل لمصلحه السعوديه؟ لا، لمصلحه اسرائيل، لمصلحه الامريكان.
Nasrallah also proclaimed that Saudi Arabia was facing a resounding defeat in Yemen, where he insisted that the fall of the city of Ma'rib to the Iranian-backed Houthis will have big consequences to the region. And while the fall of Saudi Arabia's southern neighbor into the hands of Iran's Axis is supposedly imminent, Nasrallah claimed it should not come at the expense of Lebanon.
موضوع اليمن لا يمكن أن يكون حجة يجي على أساسها السعودي يعاقب لبنان كله. بدك تعاقب حزب الله، عاقب حزب الله، ما في مشكلة. قاطعنا، حاربنا، كل شيء بتقدر تعمله تجاه حزب الله اعمله، ما أنت عم تعمله. ما أنت من 2006 عم تعمله ليلا ونهارا. بس شو خص الشعب اللبناني؟ شو خص الدولة اللبنانية؟ أنا أقول للسعودية إذا كنتوا عن جد بدكم تخلصوا من موضوع اليمن، ليس طريقه الضغط على لبنان ولا على حزب الله في لبنان ولا على أي أحد في الكرة الأرضية. في طريق واحد، أن تقبلوا بوقف إطلاق النار ورفع الحصار والذهاب إلى المفاوضات السياسية.
It is important to know that while the Iranian proxy leader is making blatant claims over Saudi Arabia, Israel, and the United States in a desperate attempt to dissuade public anger toward Hezbollah's role in destabilizing Lebanon at Iran's behest, Washington has stepped up efforts to help alleviate the suffering of the Lebanese people. The first breakthrough included a deal struck on October 28th between Beirut, Damascus, and Amman to transfer electricity to Lebanon from Jordan via Syria.
تم التوصل إلى الصيغة النهائية لعقد تبادل الطاقة الكهربائية اللي من خلاله راح يتم تزويد لبنان بجزء من احتياجاته خلال الفترة القادمة.
نحن من الاجتماع الأول حطينا مدة زمنية، قلنا بنهاية هذا العام إن شاء الله ستكون الشبكة الكهربائية جاهزة لوضعها بالاستثمار.
Despite Syria, which is sanctioned under the Caesar Act, being an essential part of the deal, Lebanon's energy minister stressed that the United States granted Beirut and Amman a green light to proceed with the arrangement. Consequently, the World Bank, which attended the meeting, agreed to finance the granting of a loan to import and transport electricity from Jordan to Lebanon.
نفهمه من الجانب الأمريكي الدور الأخضر معطى لهالمشروع.
هو طبعا البنك الدولي كان حاضر بالاجتماع، ولذلك نحن عنا موافقة من البنك الدولي على هذا البرنامج.
Alongside the support of the United States in helping facilitate the transfer of electricity, the U.S. State Department's senior advisor for global energy security, Amos Hochstein, recently traveled to Lebanon and Israel to try and revive stalled negotiations over a long-lasting maritime dispute that could, if resolved, provide a way out for Beirut from its long list of domestic woes.
I see this as a number of stages. First is the immediate to short-term to medium-term stage, and that is to get natural gas flowing into Lebanon, as I described, maybe connecting the grids of Jordan all the way to Lebanon. That's not going to solve the whole problem, but that will give us breathing room. The next piece is really looking at the longer term, and for that reason, we've looking again at the maritime boundary dispute with Israel, and to see if we can get a workable solution. I've been to Lebanon a few weeks ago. I just came back from Israel as well yesterday, to see if we can restart the negotiations and to reach a resolution on a relatively quick time basis, so that we can have a resolution to the dispute on the boundary, but that will also then unlock the investment side from international companies in Lebanon.
Hochstein, who made these remarks in an interview with CNBC, went on to stress, however, that without political resolutions that would resolve the long-lasting maritime boundary dispute with Israel, among others, real foreign direct investments remain unlikely.
The idea that they will agree to drill and to make the real investments without a political resolution on the boundary is foolish. It's not going to happen. And therefore, let's get a resolution on the boundary, figure out how these resources will be developed and by whom. And then there can actually be investment, and that will give the light at the end of the tunnel that we're going to get somewhere. And yes, the natural gas won't come out of the ground anytime soon. It'll take a few years. But the initial investments, hiring of some people, bringing some attention to this region for the first time in years of having foreign direct investment in Lebanon, I think that will be something important.
The American envoy also addressed the Saudi-Lebanese crisis, acknowledging that political and financial support from Gulf nations in the immediate term would help improve the situation in Lebanon. However, it is important to stress that so long as the Islamic Republic of Iran, by means of its Lebanese proxy Hezbollah, continues to hold Lebanon hostage, it will remain hostile toward Israel, Saudi Arabia, and other moderate nations in the region. Furthermore, Iran's damning influence over Lebanon seemingly threatens local Christian communities in the once defined Christian country. Turning to Jerusalem, where Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett addressed the 5th Annual Christian Media Summit, asserting that in contrast to radical Islam, which spouts terror and seeks to destroy the State of Israel along with other minorities in the region, Jerusalem regards Christians as its natural allies.
The terror that begins in Tehran seeks to destroy Israel, dominate the world, and drive it into a dark abyss. No faith should lead people to wage war in the name of the God of peace, spread hate in the name of the God of love, practice cruelty in the name of the God of compassion, or kill in the name of the God of life. In the Middle East, there's only one place that fully protects Christian life, where the Christian community is growing, thriving, and prospering, and that's in the State of Israel. Israel protects the right of Christians as we protect the rights of all religions. Today more than ever, Christians stand united with Israel, and today more than ever, Israel stands united with Christians. We're brothers and sisters. We are united.
Thank you for watching us. As part of TV7 Israel's prayer initiative, I would like to encourage you today to join the team and me here in Jerusalem to lift up Poland in prayer for its salvation and peace, alongside prayers for our persecuted brothers and sisters worldwide, in addition to our ongoing prayers for the peace of Jerusalem and the salvation of Israel. I'm Jonathan Hassan, wishing you a Shabbat Shalom Mevorach, and we will see you again on Monday at the same time.